I have to be honest, I was a Trello hater. I never understood why so many people love Trello and the simplicity of it, especially when it came to task management and project management. For me, the process of moving a card from like to do to complete just never was satisfying. It never hit the spot. It was way more satisfying to have my to-do list in my notebook and just cross things out each and every time I had something done. Even if it was something simple as send that one email, it would been way, way better to just cross it off in my notebook. However, being even more digital with the COVID-19 pandemic happening and joining the team at Size City a year ago who uses Trello before I even got there, I've been forced to use Trello a lot more. Now, if you know me, I can be a bit stubborn, and this is one of those moments where I was stubborn and saying I'm not going to use Trello, or at least I was really hesitant to get into it because I just never could, at least with my little experiences with it in the past, I just can never fall in love with it. So I went to the natural alternative, and that was Asana. And honestly, as a list person who likes to cross things off, Asana was like, I thought was the magical fit, but it wasn't. I just couldn't get into it. There was like so much going on, all these little details, and I just couldn't fall in love with it. I used it for a week and decided that's enough. I can't do it. So with that, I went to the next hot tool that everyone is talking about, and that is Notion. Now, Notion is a great jack of all trades tool, and I used it for months. However, I felt like I was getting bogged down because it wouldn't connect to different apps and things like that with, because there was, at the time, the API was not open and you couldn't connect it to anything really. Now, I'm sure this experience is a little bit different now that the API is open, you can connect, Notion to, different things using Zapier. However, that's still a pain in the butt at times. And let's be honest, native integrations are so much better than like using Zapier and all those different things. But different story, different time. But wait, let's back up. You might not even know what Trello is. Trello is based off the Kanban system, and if you don't know what the Kanban system is, the Kanban system is a card system that was developed by Toyota to help manage their lean manufacturing processes. And as you can imagine, manufacturing can be a really complicated process, and the Kanban system helps simplify it. And what happens is that Trello is essentially a digital version of that Kanban system. And it works with cards, lists, and boards. So here is a board in Trello. Now you can think of a board in Trello as a project or even a place to kind of help organize a regular weekly meeting that you have with a team. Here is a list in Trello, and you can think of this as a way to organize that board, and it can be a place to help organize tasks or even a place to keep resources. And here is a card in Trello. Now a card, you can think of it as a digital sticky note. So it could be a to-do, it could be a single resource that you have organized. Maybe it's like links that you go to all the time. The cards, essentially, like I just mentioned, are like a digital sticky note with a lot of different adaptability to them. So if you're looking for a way to try out Trello for the first time, I would say to try out with your own personal task management and to create 4 lists. Very simple. Have one list be to-dos, the second list be in progress, the third list be completed, and the fourth list be resources. Now, the first 3 lists are just to help manage tasks. And even if you're a solopreneur or just a solo team member, it can be really helpful, just to kind of keep things organized, which is really good for mental capacity, emotional capacity. At least for me, it is. Now, that fourth list, that resource list, it can be just a place where there are links that you go to a lot or even readings you want to go to later. That's just a place to kind of hold things that you want to just have as helpful resources. That's what that whole list is there for. So that's kind of the cool part about Trello, is it can be really simple for helping to see the status of tasks really quickly, but also a place as like a wiki to hold resources all in one place. That's Trello in a nutshell. Let's go over the reasons why I've been loving Trello so much lately. Reason number 1 why I've been loving Trello lately is the simplicity. Now, even if you're not a tech wizard or you don't really identify as someone that's techie, Trello is pretty easy to understand. It's pretty intuitive, And that actually helps, I think, with inclusivity with your team, because you don't have to be a tech wizard to learn Trello, and everyone can still communicate with Trello. And this is really important, just to help make sure everyone on your team is on the same page. So if you're working with a team, I think it's a really big plus for having just inclusivity for those that aren't very techy. Now, if you do have a tech team, yes, these other tools like Airtable or Notion or Asana, they can be really, really cool tools that are great for especially teams that are more techy. However, they still can be a bit complicated, and I think, the more complex you get, the worse it is, especially when it comes to task management, because I don't know about you, but for me, like, the simpler it comes with, when it comes to task management, the better, because there's already enough in my head. If I can keep my simple, to understand what I need to get done and when, that is really helps me just be really effective in task management. The second reason I've been loving Trello lately is that it can act as a one-stop hub for everything. Now, for me, right now, I have multiple teams having a lot going on with them, and Trello right now, I have a board for each one of them, and Trello is acting as a one-stop hub for everything. It has all of the tasks or things we need to talk about, as the 3 lists. Then we have a resources list. Then we also have a list for team. And for team, actually, everyone has a personal user manual in there as an individual card. So that way we can help communicate and just learn how we work together on that piece of it. But then resources can be the things that we go to as a team consistently, whether it's, maybe it's the website, maybe it's an application, whatever it might be, everything is there. And also when it comes to communication, who's doing what, or what do we need to talk about, everything is in one place in Trello. So the communication has been so much better. And instead of having to go through an email or Slack messages for because information can be everywhere, all the information is in one place, and that's been really valuable for my own time. But I think for our team's sanity, we're not looking through everything and trying to message one another all the time, because everything is in one place on one board for our entire team for that particular project. The third and final reason I've been loving Trello a lot lately is checklists and labels. Now, sometimes the basic format of Trello is having, to do, in progress, and completed just isn't the right format for Trello. And sometimes tasks have tasks. Yeah, tasks can have tasks. For example, I was recently working on a course about ideation, and I wanted to be able to manage the entire project as a board in Trello. Now, the standard format of to do, in progress, and completed just wasn't the right format for it. And actually what I did is actually had pretty much each section of the course as a list. And in those lists, I had every video that was going to be in that section of the course be an individual card, which is a task. I needed to get that video done. But to get that video done, there was a lot of different tasks that come with that. And because of the beauty of Trello, I was able to create a standard checklist that I had for each of the cards that was the same checklist, because each video has the same checklist. And I was able to go through and create those videos based on those checklists. And the cool part about Trello too is that as you're marking off those checklists in each individual card, you can actually see the big picture of where you're at, the status of it, because there's 4 out of 7 or there's 3 out of 7. It actually tells you how many of those tasks in that checklist on the front of the card are completed. Now, if you're a big Notion fan, to my knowledge, Notion can't do that. So you go, Trello. Props to you. That's a really, really helpful feature. I didn't realize how valuable that was until I really got into using Trello for building that particular course. Now, one thing you can do in Notion and in Trello is labeling. Now, labeling, the front of the cards is actually a really valuable thing for me, because for my own individual task management, I like to time block and also prioritize tasks into high priority, medium priority, and low priority. Now, high priority for me is it has to get done that particular day. Medium priority is it'd be nice if it gets done and it's due later this week, or it's due soon, but it's not necessarily it's gonna be required soon, but it's not there yet. Low priority is, this is a nice to have, and if you have some extra time, just get around to it. And as I'm managing tasks, I can actually set, here's the amount of time I think it takes, and I can label each individual card with high priority, medium priority, and low priority. and be able to schedule my week out. I can have a list for Monday, a list for Tuesday. I can schedule it all out with how much time it takes for each task, and also label them with what tasks are high priority. And that's really helpful for me to see what's my flow of the week gonna look like. Do I need to cancel meetings? It's been really helpful to get just a really quick glance of where my week is looking. And Trello makes that incredibly simple to do. So yes, I do feel a little bit old school, a little bit old fashioned using Trello. The techie side of me is saying, oh, go to the nice, the hot, hyped up tools right now. But honestly, Trello is still a really great tool. It's still growing, it's still adapting. The team that seems to be really great over at Trello. And it's been really beneficial for me in the last 6 months. Now, the other big perk of Trello is that you can get a lot done in the free version of Trello. For example, all of the work I'm managing here at StartStation right now, I'm using just the free version of Trello. I have no need to go get the paid version right now. I'm sure there will be a day where I get there, but right now, I'm getting everything to get done in the free version of Trello. And that to me is a huge perk because other tools you can't necessarily do that with. So hopefully this video was helpful for explaining why I've been loving Trello. And if you have any feedback or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below.